Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the Ranting Cowboy again. Alright, so we're going to get into this video. We're going to be talking about white privilege and how it actually does not exist, along with talking about this police brutality that's going on and how the police are just a bunch of racists. So, let's get into it. First off, 3 rules. 1, you don't like what I have to say, be an adult, turn it off. You can go ahead and comment if you want, and I'll probably will mention you in the comments about why I said what I said, and probably I'm not going to apologize. Actually, change that. Probably not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for what I said. So, second rule. If you do like what I have to say, or if you don't like what I have to say, but you want to continue hearing what I do have to say, go ahead and like and subscribe. Not that hard. It's a button right down there. It costs absolutely nothing to subscribe. The third one that I'd like to bring out. You know what? I just forgot the third rule. I already mentioned it. If you comment, I will probably go in and say what I have to say about you. So, let's get into it. First off, we're going to talk about this white privilege thing. Okay, so here's the deal. People are trying to say that this cop who came up to the window and tried to stop this guy, and the guy just took off dragging the cop. They're saying, well, the reason the guy didn't shoot was because the guy was white. Here's the problem with that. Not every cop wants to draw their firearm. Not every cop wants to actually do that. I'm not saying that there are some cops who just want to do that. I'm just saying that not every cop is comfortable drawing their firearm. I was in the military. I had guys who were conscientious objectors in the infantry. If you don't know what a conscientious objector is, it's somebody who will not take a life. Most conscientious objectors are actually like real conscientious objectors won't even touch a firearm. It's no longer allowed. That was allowed during World War II, where they could not even touch a firearm. And you had to have a job that specified that you would not touch a weapon. Mostly it was, the biggest one was a medic. If you haven't seen the movie Hacksaw Ridge, it talks about this guy. Really well done movie, actually. The book was much better in my opinion, but it was a really well done movie. Andrew Garfield actually nailed it head on with this guy. But that's what a conscientious objector is. They will not take a life. You do have cops who are the same way, but they're conscientious objectors. They do not want to take a life. I know a few who are Seventh-day Adventists who actually they will not shoot somebody. So, what is it with this cop was? I don't know. But like I said, just because he didn't shoot, it's not because the guy was white. That's not why they didn't shoot the guy. Honestly, if I had been in that situation, I don't care what fucking color that guy was. I don't care if he's white, he's black, he's green, I don't care. Pulling up my gun, pop, pop. Should have stopped. That's what I'm going to say about that stop. The next one is a 13-year-old. So, CBS is actually coming under fire, or MSNBC. Sorry, not CBS. MSNBC is coming under fire because of the fact that they edited they did an edit where pictures and body cam footage, they edited it. They did an edit where they removed the firearm from his hands. Here's the actual problem with what actually happened. 13-year-old had gun. Him and an older guy were reported shooting off 8 rounds at people driving by. Police showed up. The older guy was no longer around. It was just a 13-year-old. 13-year-old raises his hand. Let's go of gun. Problem is, by the time he raised his hand, cop already had his weapon drawn. By the time he was letting go of the gun, kid was shot. Here's how you properly do it. I grew up in the cities, in Minnesota. We played airsoft. And to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm going to get into the airsoft situation, I should have been prepared for this. Where did I put that? I moved it somewhere when we were moving things around. Bear with me. I'd show you with my real one, but that's not safe, so. Where did I put it? This here is an airsoft rifle. Just so everybody knows, it's not a real weapon. However, I'm going to show it to you off camera, so you can't see the orange tip. That's what you see. Now, this thing's pointed at you. You only have seconds. You don't actually see this, because you only have seconds. So, cop sees this, somebody raises it, they shoot them. Growing up in the cities, this is what I was told by my parents. When I was holding something like this, and we're getting back into the kid with the gun, this is what I was told. You see the cops, you hear the sirens, you take it, you drop it. You never once are raising it up like this. You're not lowering it, you drop it. That's it. The fact that we have parents who are too dumb to teach their kids this, that's on them. Falls on the parents for being complete dumb fucks. 16-year-old who was shot, who had an airsoft gun. He removed the orange tip, first of all. Now, did I do that kind of stuff? Absolutely, I did. I was also going out into the country, though, to play with friends of mine. So I would actually drive, or would get rides from my parents, and drive out to the country, about 2 hours out of the cities, to go play this stuff. They stayed in bags. I never once was out in my driveway playing with one that didn't have an orange tip on it. I never once was down at my dad's church up in the cities playing with an airsoft rifle without an orange tip. And we had cops called on us all the time. Told the same thing all the time. Drop it. And that's what we always did. We always dropped it. Our hands were up. Cops would come and be like, hey, what's going on? They tell us why they were there. We tell them what we were doing. Had a cop actually tell me that we had to have permission from the pastor, to which I was like, yeah, it's real simple. The pastor's actually my dad. He lives right in that house, right there behind the church. If you go in, you knock on the door, you're going to see either an MPD t-shirt on him or a St. Paul Police t-shirt on him. I have two loved ones who are both parts of those branches of the police force. So, and then you have me who was in the military. Yeah, I went the opposite route. Well, not exactly the opposite route, but I went a different route than my brothers did. Didn't think that all of us should do the same job, so. But it was real simple. My parents brought us up believing, and I still believe this, no matter of your color, if you treat the officer with respect, and if you treat the officer like he is over you, because guess what? He is, because he oversees the laws. Do I agree with all the laws? No. Here's the problem, though. Police officer is sworn to uphold those laws. Do they necessarily agree with all of them? No. But they are sworn in to uphold those laws. Like, I know police officers who think this whole gun grab is just stupid that Biden wants to do. I also do know police officers who think, yeah, this is the right move. Just like I know military people that believe the same things. I believe there are unconstitutional laws, but we'll get into that a different day. Now, moving more into this whole thing with George Floyd. Oh, I want to be careful about how I say this because I don't want to come off as a racist son of a bitch, but Floyd was a piece of shit. Said it. I know I'm going to get hate for it. Floyd also he had multiple drugs in his system. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up to date with the court hearings, but from hearing all of the BS from the prosecuting attorney, who, by the way, beat his fiance or his wife, like, this guy is in no position to try to judge a police officer. Only reason he's protected is because he votes Democrat. That's why he's protected. They take care of their own. Same thing that Republicans do, don't get me wrong, but it's what every party does. We're going to protect our own. Problem is, Siobhan, they're trying to make a statement about him because he also votes Democrat, but it's a way that the Democrats can push for civil unrest. Government loves pushing civil unrest because now they can go pass laws that you're not paying attention to because you're too focused on all the bullshit that they are causing. So they can go pass these laws and you're not paying attention because all you're paying attention to is racism that the media is telling us about and that the politicians are telling us about. You're not paying attention to anything else that gets passed. It's just like people who didn't know what was going on in California, which I mentioned a few videos ago, a couple videos ago. No, people weren't paying attention to that was happening because they were too focused. And whenever I see riots, whenever I hear about the politicians coming out talking about civil unrest, whenever I hear the politicians come out and talk about racism, I always sit there and go, what are they trying to get done? And then I start doing research. And I have people in my life who are just like, not everybody researches everything like you do. Well, that's part of the problem. We have people who aren't doing any research. They're just watching what the media says. They're looking on Facebook. Oh, look, a story popped up on Facebook. Click on it, read the story. Okay, well, that's what's happening right now. No, there's so much more happening behind the scenes that you're not even seeing because you're focusing on one story. And there's a reason why the media is focusing on that one story. Because they're being paid by these politicians, both the right and the left, for you not to be able to focus on it because they told the media to focus on this. And the fact that America is still falling for this just blows my fucking mind that we still fall for this kind of bullshit. Like, God, get your heads out of your asses. Moving more into this whole ordeal that happened with this other police officer just recently in Brooklyn Park. Oh, God. She goes to go grab her taser. She grabs her handgun. Okay, well, here's the situation. Do I believe that police need more training? Absolutely. Here's the problem. When you defund them, they're not going to get that training. They're underfunded already, and it's why they're not getting the training that they need. I'm sorry, I've got, cat hair or something in my eye. They're not getting the funding they need for this training already. So, with that being the problem, we're not doing don't shoot training. So now muscle memory takes over instead of your training. Well, your muscle memory, because most of your training has been draw a firearm, not draw a taser. So your muscle memory takes over and you go like this, grab it. You are thinking in your brain that because I meant to grab my taser, that's what I grabbed. You're not thinking because, I only had seconds that, hey, somehow I grabbed my gun, pop. Shit. Literally, that's what she did. And she just sat there and she goes, I meant to grab my taser, I meant to grab my taser, I meant to grab my taser. That's not somebody who meant to shoot someone. Do I think that she was wrong? Absolutely. Do I think that something needs to happen with her? Absolutely. I don't necessarily agree with second-degree murder. I believe in involuntary manslaughter, possibly. Actually, that would be the one that I would go for, is involuntarily manslaughter. Or accidental manslaughter. I don't know if that's actually the phrase for it, but... No. And the reason why I say that is because civilian that I know about, and I'm not going to tell you how I know about this civilian because it's a horrible situation, and I'm not going to go into too many details, but he accidentally shot a photographer. He was doing a photo shoot, and the photographer and the photographer's assistant, and this is how he got off, the photographer and the photographer's assistant were taking pictures. He's laying on the ground, and she tells him, point the gun. So he points the gun, finger on the trigger like an idiot. Your burger grabber doesn't go on the freaking trigger. Don't use the nearest soft rifle because it's safer. If you have walls that are thinner, this is where your burger grabber goes. Everybody see that? It doesn't go here. It goes here. Not here. Here. I don't know how many times I can specify that. But she tells him to point it. So he points it. But with this, she tells him then to dry fire. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. Anyone ever tells you to do that and you're not in the range, tell them they know jack shit about guns. Because if you're going to dry fire and you're at a range, you point down range. That's it. Horrible idea. So, but he goes like this, goes like that, pulls trigger. Boom! Photographer gets shot. Photographer's assistant, him, call police, call paramedics, everything. She's dead. He goes to court, gets involuntary manslaughter, and had to completely get rid of his weapons. Horrible ordeal that happened there. Again, accidental. Didn't mean to. Is it different? Yes, because he's a civilian, he's not trained. And it was also a thing of he thought it was unloaded. But at the same time, she thought she had the taser. So, that is why I don't agree with what they are trying to push. They are trying to push that this was because he was black. That's not the case. Guarantee you the same thing is going to happen with the shootings, the 2 shootings that just happened recently. One in Portland, Oregon, I believe. And the other one in another state that I can't remember off the top of my head. I just was reading the story earlier today and I can't find it now. Pretty sure the media took it down because they know they don't have an argument to try to push the agenda. But in both situations, wanted suspects. One guy jumped out his window, pointed a gun at cop. Cop shot him. No other casualties. 2 shots, both hit him. Dead. The second one, no, the guy was running away from the cops. Turned around, pulled a gun, cop drew his, shot him. Dead. Now, they were both black, and I guarantee you somehow they're going to try to pull it in and say that, oh, it was because they were black that they were shot. No, they pointed a fucking gun at the cop. You're going to die. You're going to die. Like, just get that through your head that you're a fucking idiot. Just sign the waiver that says, I'm signing my life over to you. Here you go. Like, God, it's not that fucking hard to figure out people. The fact that we still are trying to figure out, like, that criminals are not going to have rights for very long. Like, you know what we used to do that we need to go back to? We used to hang people for stealing. We used to hang people for shooting. We used to hang people for rape. We need to get back to that. Because this is just getting out of hand. And public execution, I am actually all for. The child molesters, I think, need to get blood eagled. If you don't know what that is, it's a horrible Viking death. Horrible death. And it should be a mandatory thing of a child molester gets that in the middle of Times Square. Work companies, everything is all shut down. They all have to go, if it's in Minnesota, all Minnesotans get shut down. They are forced to go and watch this brutal thing to show this is what happens to a child molester. New York, same thing. All states, all 50 states, that's how it should be in America. I mean, the Vikings came to America, and we actually have research that shows they were here before the American Indians, so the Vikings were here first. So, we should get back to our roots. Because Minnesota especially was a Norwegian country, or not country, but Norwegian settlement. Way back in the day. We should get back to those roots. This was something they did. Was it a everyday occurrence they did this one? No, it was just for really bad people that this happened to. Child molesters. Really bad people in my mind. Why not? So, moving on, going back to this kid who was just shot. Do you people even know anything about this kid? Other than he was black and that he tried fleeing the police? No, because the media is not talking about the fact that, first of all, he was pulled over for his fucking tabs. He was not pulled over because he had something hanging from his rearview mirror. He was pulled over for his tabs. It was a routine stop. They ran his name and everything, and oh shit, he's got a warrant because of armed robbery, where he threatened to. First of all, he beat this woman, and then he threatened to kill her if she didn't give over the $800 that she had. Oh my god. You know, at that point, when he's trying to drive away, what would be going through my mind is, does he have a gun in that car? Is he going to use it on me or my partner? Is my life in danger? And now we get out of the second-degree murder and into, hey, I actually felt like my life was in danger here. I mean, it's not that fucking hard to figure out, people. The fact that we're still having this argument after Obama got out of office, and that's when this whole bullshit started. And everybody's going to come out and be like, oh, of course you'd say that because he was our first black president, blah, 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 blah. No, Obama was the first president that tried to pull in a race war. He tried saying the reason people disagreed with him was because he was black. That was not why I disagreed with him. I disagreed with him because, well, I spent 3 paychecks and not getting paid under him because of a government shutdown. Fuck you. I was against him because he brought in Obamacare that was just the biggest flop that anybody had ever seen. I disagreed with him because he was all about gun grabbing like Biden, and Trump did it too with the bump stocks. I mean, with Trump, as much as I hated the fact that he went after bump stocks, at least he only went after a stock. Still wrong, but at least it was just a stock that he went after. The rest of these politicians can fuck right off with their fucking gun grabbing bullshit fuck. I'll tell you what. Here's how we'll play it. Politicians, you guys want to ban guns and everything. I'll tell you what. When you can get drugs off the street, like we've been trying to do for, since the 60s? You guys can do that and prove that they're all off the streets, then we can talk about you disarming American citizens. But here's the thing. The difference between the drugs and the guns were put in our hands so that we could take out you. That was why our founding fathers gave us the right to carry. It's why the founding fathers gave us the right to be armed. It was because they sat there and said, one day, the government's going to do the same bullshit they had been doing, where they started taking away everyone else's rights and became dictators. And that's literally what we have right now. We have a dictatorship. You have to do this, and that. You have to pay taxes on a house that you own. You have to pay taxes on a car that you own. Not only do you have to pay taxes on the car that you own, sales tax, you have to pay a tax every year to drive that car. You also have to pay insurance, which we're going to put sales tax on that. And then not only are we going to do that, but you have to get a license, and we're going to charge you for that, and then we're going to tax that. But then not only are we going to do that, but like I said with the houses, we're going to force you to go bankrupt pretty much to buy a house. And then not only that, we're going to have a mortgage that we're going to tax the shit out of. And then not only that, but then we're going to give you property taxes. And then not only that, but hey, you want to build something for your house? You now have to get a permit from us. Then you have to have an inspector, which all of this you have to pay for. And then you have to pay taxes and all of it. Why? They don't give two shits about your safety. The government really doesn't. It's just that they can give you a safety thing to tell you that, oh, that way you have to pay us more money. And I'm not even shitting you. I have a friend who actually went and did a bunch of shit, got the safety inspector and everything, built an addition to their house, had a safety inspector come. Safety inspector told him it was no good. He had to redo all these wires and everything. He didn't touch anything. Just wait a couple more months. Call the same safety inspector back. Guy came back, goes, yeah, everything's good. Signed off on it. Gave him a piece of paper that said that he was good to go. But he had to pay twice for the same safety inspector. What? Just another way for them to make some money. So, continuing on, we are now going to talk about this fucking mayor in Brooklyn Park who wants the police to patrol officers to stop carrying. Did we not see what just happened in New Mexico? Cop pulls up, and everybody's like, oh, well, of course. He pulled up on the guy, saw a gun in the back seat, and figured the guy was white, so he wasn't going to use it. No, that's not the case. This cop wasn't, don't want to disgrace the dead, and especially not a dead police officer, but the cop was an idiot. Okay? He walked up, probably another cop who didn't want to take your life, because of everything that's going on. I mean, look at the scrutiny they are under right now. He didn't want to draw his weapon because of all the scrutiny they're under. Because the cops understand that once they start shooting not just one group of people, I'm not going to say it because then again, I don't want it to sound like a racist. But once they start shooting another group of people, then it's just going to become a whole thing about like, oh, well, cops are all just power-hungry fucking murderers. And so, and they know this. They know that's what's going to end up happening. So right now you have cops who are just like, I am not going to shoot unless I absolutely have to. And this cop absolutely needed to have his hand on the weapon. But instead what he does, instead of having his hand on his weapon, gun drawn out, because he sees there's a gun in the back seat, I need you to step out of your vehicle. Guy steps out, reaches in the back seat, grabs the rifle, pop. Comes and stands over that cop. Pop. Other cops show up, he starts shooting at them. This was the part that was beautiful to me. Runs out of ammo. And the cops unload on him. That was the part where I just wanted to jump up and just start cheering. Because I saw what this guy had just done to this cop. I was just like, fuck yeah. Fuck you. Burn in hell. And speaking of that, speaking of burning in hell, Maxine Waters comes out in Minneapolis, in my state, because of the George Floyd fucking trial, and is sitting there telling the people in Minneapolis, if he is not found guilty, make sure we do not give them rest. Continue to riot. Continue to loot. Continue to burn. This is what she's telling people. Now, everybody wanted Trump arrested because of what happened at the Capitol. First of all, if you are actually against the law, if you're actually against these laws that are in place, you should be supporting that Capitol riot. I do not support the Capitol riot. I don't. But if we're going to call those riots and the peaceful protesting, the Capitol riot was a peaceful protest. It was not a riot. The reason it got called a riot was because it wasn't American citizens getting fucked in the ass. It was the politicians that were in trouble. That's why it got called a riot. Was because now it was politicians that were almost killed. And god damn it, I know I shouldn't say it, but man alive, wish we could just do a do-over with the politicians. Because I am so done with these politicians. Especially Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, fucking Ilhan Omar. Some people did some things on 9/11. Yeah. Oh, those were yours. That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Those were your people. Oh, shit. But the rest of the squad, couldn't even tell you who was all on that squad. And before someone goes, oh, well, you're just a white supremacist. I called out Nancy Pelosi, too. I can't stand that fucking bitch either. Yeah, she came out in support of the police and said we can't defund them. Good for you. You're still treating the National Guard like shit. And while we're on that topic, the National Guard in Minneapolis today, Sunday, April. What is it today? Let's see. April 18th at about 4:30 in the afternoon, got shot at along with police officers, and one was rushed to the hospital because of injuries. 2 National Guard guys. Oh, and then not only that, but last Tuesday, they get kicked out by a union in St. Paul. And they're chanting, "Don't come back." So now, not only are we attacking our military or our police officers, but now we're attacking our military. When we go to war, I hope to God it's all these people who hate the cops and hate our military that get sent first. Because obviously you could do the job better. Obviously you could do it so much better. You know what? I hope a gun gets shoved in your face. I hope you're the one who gets shot at. Because you can do the job so much fucking better than these guys who have training to do it. So how about you go get shot at instead? How about you go put your life on the line instead? Why don't you do something to better your country instead of just trying to better yourself, you selfish piece of fucking shit? God, I hate people. And I don't discriminate. I hate everyone. I hate every motherfucker. Every single one. I told my fiance when we first started talking that I told her I'm going to warn you about 3 things. 1, I'm a dick. I'm proud to be a dick. I'm not going to change from being a dick. The second thing is I hate men. I don't care what color they are, what race they are. I hate men. They're all chauvinistic pieces of shit. And I hate every single one of them. They're all worthless. So then the third thing I'm going to tell you about myself is I like guns. And I'm not going to change from that fact. She was okay with it. And now here's the thing. Just because I say I hate men, it's not just men in general. I mean men as in the human race. Like the biblical term men meant everyone. And I think that the human race is the most selfish pile of crap. Because here's the deal. You have abortion. It's going to be an inconvenience for my life. I'm not saying that all abortionists say that, but the majority of them say that it would be such an inconvenience. Or I'm not in the right spot. Okay, well, you've got Nancy over here, the horse, who is a workhorse, and that's not going to want to have an abortion. You have these wolves over here that aren't doing abortions or doing anything like that. Do some animals eat their young? Yes, I get that. Is that the same thing as abortion? No, because guess what? Most of the time, the mama is the fucker that eats the one that's trying to eat the young. You don't believe me? Go look up Black Widow spiders. There's a reason why they're called Black Widow. The female, after they have sex and after she's impregnated, kills the husband. She saves its carcass for when the babies are born, and then the babies eat that. Gross. But at least the babies are taken care of. Now, let's look at deadbeat dads. If that was an option for humans, we would completely just dismantle the deadbeat dad syndrome, wouldn't we? There wouldn't be a deadbeat dad, because we'd all be dead after we impregnate, so... And then guess what, women? You're in charge! And there's more wars because, she didn't like my outfit, or she didn't comment on my haircut, or she's just kind of a bitch, so we have more wars. And yes, that's honest to God, I have numerous women in my life who have all said that's how wars would start. So don't hate me for saying it. I'm just repeating what these women have told me. I can bring them onto my show if you don't believe me that they say that. I will bring them onto my show and have them say it to you that that's why they believe wars would start if women were in charge. They have nicer things. They look nicer in this. I always hate that. I know I'm getting off topic here, but I always hated it. Growing up, I had 3 sisters. One of them didn't talk because she had Down syndrome, but the other 2, and then now with my fiance, I always hate the question, does this make me look fat? Well, how am I supposed to answer that? Because if I say no, but you think it does, I'm wrong. If I say that it does, but you like how it looks, or even if you don't like how it looks, and I say it does, I'm wrong. I mean, either way, I'm losing in this argument. It doesn't matter how I answer this. And then if I say I prefer not to answer, guess what? I'm still fucking wrong. Or if I say I don't think so, guess what? I'm still fucking wrong. Like, it does not matter how you answer that as a guy. Here's a tip to all of you single guys out there right now. If you get asked that question, run. Just figure a way to change that subject. Don't sit there and try to be like, oh, how can I get myself out of this? And try to think of something, because you're not going to think in time. We don't. Especially if it's actually a good looking outfit that we think looks good. Because guess what? Now this head's not going to be thinking. And if you're a guy, you know what I mean. So, anyway, that's a rant that I didn't mean to go on. That just kind of came up. But we're just going to leave that one alone and just move on to these other rants. That was more a light in the mood. But, moving back to the police officers and this white privilege crap. The thing I love the most about this white privilege crap is who are the ones who are mostly preaching about white privilege? Who do you hear the most talking about it? I mean, I've got black coworkers, and it will come up sometimes. Yeah, it will, and normally, because of who I work with, it comes up as a joke. But the ones I see the most preaching about white privilege are these white women. And she's like, here we go, Karen. What? What did I do wrong? Do you know why you didn't get shot when you were speeding? Yeah, because I pulled over to the side of the road right away, and cop walked up, asked me for my license, and I gave it to him. And then, and my insurance. Oh, and I also told him that, hey, just so you know, I have a firearm in the car that's in my dashboard, because that's normally where I keep my firearm when I'm driving. Like, it's right in there with my insurance. How do you want to do this? Or else there have been times where I'm driving and I'm on my back, cop pulls me over, I come to a stop, put in park. By the time I'm already reaching, he's already at my window. Put my hand back up on the steering wheel. I tell the officer, just so you know, I have a firearm on me. I do have a concealed carry. How do you want me to do this? And the cop just sits there and he's like, this is literally what I was told by a cop. When I said that, he goes, I'm going to put my hand on my gun. And put his hand on his gun, and he goes, grab it slowly. I was like, okay. So I reached, and first of all, he was over on my passenger side window. So he could see where I was going. I reached, grabbed my wallet, moved very slowly with this hand still on the steering wheel, pulled out my wallet, picked it, grabbed it. He asked me for my driver's license, my concealed carry, and my insurance. I grabbed all that for him, kept my hand up on the steering wheel while he went back to his car. That way both hands were on the steering wheel. He could see where my hands were. I waited to get instruction before just reaching. Because that's how you get shot. There was actually a Minneapolis police officer who was shot quite a few years ago. He was a cop and told them that his badge was in his glove compartment. Went to go grab it, opened it up, gun fell out, not his badge, just his gun. He got shot. Did he die? No, but he was shot. Pretty sure about that point, what I would have probably done is, after I got to the hospital, if those cops had been there too, been like, oh, you're going to wish to God when I get out of this hospital that you had killed me. Because I am now going to make your lives miserable. I mean, either way, they would have had miserable lives because they would have gotten involuntary manslaughter probably. Actually, probably not because he was white, so. And do I believe in racism? Yeah, I do. And I believe right now the ones who are being targeted are the straight white men. Or as I call it, the SWMs. The reason why we're being targeted is liberals hate us. Because the stereotypical straight white male nowadays goes to church, carries a Bible, and carries a gun. 3 things that liberals hate. 1, because God says man is free. Liberals hate that. They hate when you mention you're free. Because most liberals want communism. They hate that you carry a Bible. Because you carry a Bible, you're telling them that the way that you're living is wrong. And do I necessarily agree with that second point of Christians saying that? No, I don't believe it's my job to tell you you're living your life wrong. My job is to take that Bible and live my life that way. Not try to push on anyone else to live that way. But the stereotypical one does. Oh, and that's the other thing I love. They always tell you, you can't stereotype people. Well, you stereotype Christians and gun owners all the fucking time. So why is it okay for you to play this game, but I'm not allowed to play by your rules? Or not allowed to play by the same rules. I have to play by your rules. Which your rules say that, oh, I can judge you because you're a Christian. I can judge you because you carry a Bible. I can judge you because you carry a gun. I can judge you because of who you sleep with. I can judge you because of how you vote. But you can't do the same thing with us because that's being stereotypical. Have I lost friends over my views? Absolutely. Do I care? No. Don't care. If I lost you over an opinion that I have, because you shared your opinion and then I shared mine, and you didn't like the fact that I shared my opinion, go fuck yourself. Don't care. Not my problem that you didn't like what I had to say. It's like my dad used to always say, if you don't like what someone has to say, if you get offended by what they have to say, it's probably because it's true. I don't get offended when I hear people going, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives. I just sit there going, man, you're an idiot. If Black Lives really mattered to you, you'd be protesting against abortion clinics because of the fact that the woman who started the abortion clinics was a racist. She wanted that because she did not like big families, but more than that, she did not like minorities having families. She saw it as a way to root out minorities. Because she noticed that more minorities, at that time anyway, had sex outside of marriage, were having children at a very young age, and she used the disguise of, we are just doing this to help your life. But then she was also quoted as saying that as long as she was alive, there would not be any black representatives in the government. She didn't want black women in government. She didn't want Mexican women in government. She didn't want Latino women in government. She didn't want Asian women in government. Didn't matter what race they were. If they were not white, she didn't want them in government. But you'll never hear cancel culture call out abortion clinics because it doesn't fit their narrative. Because of the fact that, oh, hey, we actually get paid by these people. It's just like BLM. BLM is actually getting sponsored from Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood was actually giving money to BLM. So BLM won't touch them. I'm pretty sure if the police departments actually started giving money to the Black Lives Matter community, they would say, stop targeting the police and start targeting the everyday white male. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how that would work out. But then, also, the other thing for why Black Lives Matter doesn't make sense. We're going to go and we're going to attack the police on this, but we're not going to say anything about the black-on-black crime. You know, the situation that happened with that 13-year-old, as tragic as it is, he was in Chicago. He was part of a gang. Where were his parents? Why was he not at home at 13 years old at that time? The rule was, when I was 13, hey, the sun's going down. Get your ass home. That was the rule. It's the same rule I'm going to have when I have kids. And that lasted up until I was 18. And then it was a thing of, if you're not at work past sundown, you're home once the sun starts going down. So on nights where I was working till 10 o'clock at work, okay, you can come on home, or you can come home when you get off. On nights where I didn't work until then, you're going to go hang out with friends? Fine, you're home by sundown. By the time the sun starts going down, you better be home. Not the sun is already down, but the sun is starting to set. Your ass better be home. If not, you were having a sit down with your dad. And that sit down was, you were bent over and your dad had a belt. And before someone goes, oh, you were so abused as a child. No, it was called discipline. It's called rules. We got away from that. California has a bill now that's passed where parents can't even say no to their children because of parental abuse. Parental verbal abuse. Parental verbal abuse. You can't even fucking say no to your kid. I was talking to some coworkers and we were talking about the 14-year-old bill that passed in California. They're like, so if a 24-year-old says he wants to have sex with my 14-year-old and my 14-year-old tells me about it, I can't say no to the 14-year-old? I was like, no. It's like, so just do what I would do. Tell him, sure, have him come on over. I want to meet him. Bring the 24-year-old down to your basement and, oh, wow, somebody else went missing. Whoops. I know I'm totally going to get reported and probably get put on some FBI watch list or something because of some of the things I say, and I really don't care because what? I said that I want pedophiles gone? What of it? But continuing on with this white privilege bullshit storyline that everybody's preaching, do you know who the average person is to commit suicide besides vets? Because that's 22 a day is what we keep saying, but it's actually more like 23, 24 a day. But everybody just says 22 because it kind of rolls off the tongue better than 23, 24. But, so besides vets, do you know who the average person is that commits suicide? A white male. Because of depression, because of losing their job, because of being homeless, because of drug-related things. And yeah, I'm saying that white men probably are more prone to do drugs than black men are. It's actually a very strong fact in America. Like, back in the 60s, 70s, not so much. But nowadays, more so it's a white male that you're going to see doing drugs than it is a black guy. Divorce is another big cause for why white men commit suicide. Loneliness, which again go hand in hand with depression. But that's the white privilege that I keep seeing. We commit suicide. We're more unemployed. Like, unemployment rate with the African American communities, the Mexican communities, all those communities has dropped drastically. The white unemployment rate has started going up. There's a reason for that, though, too. It's actually because I found this out quite a few years ago, actually, that there's actually a tax break if you hire non-whites. Now, tell me how that's not racist. Hey, we're going to hire you, but it's because you're black. Hey, we're not going to hire you because, well, we have enough white employees. What? Like, how is that not fucked up? You want to talk about equality? Well, equality means that we all start out at the same point and we finish depending on where we end. Which is how it actually is working up until we started doing these tax breaks for you can hire this person and hire this person, but not this person. We're going to give you a tax break for hiring a convict. We're going to give you a tax break for hiring somebody who's not white. And yeah, convicts, that's probably how you got your job. It's because your employer gets a tax break for hiring you. Like, tell me how that's equality. And I love women because, well, not women. I do love women, but that's why I'm getting married. But I love feminists because they keep talking about equality for men and women too. But they keep talking about how men make such and such amount, and it's like 3 times more than what I'm actually making. I'm just like, what male is making that besides a banker or a lawyer or an actor or a politician? Like, who is actually making that? Well, everyday men are making that. Really? Because I'm an everyday man. I go to work at 6:30 in the morning. Well, that's what time I leave for work. I get there at around 8. So, but I'm getting up at like 6:30 in the morning to get to work. Getting there around 8. And I'm working until 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30 some nights. And I'm not making anywhere near that. And I work in a steel yard. I'm your everyday male because I'm working in a actual, like, hands-on physical labor job. That's your everyday male. Not these guys sitting in a fucking office. And I love, too, whenever I hear office people talk about how hard their days are. I'm just like, yeah, please, dear God, tell me how you strain your fucking finger on your keyboard. But, anyway, that's a different topic. You want equality? Here's how it's going to look. We're going to call this guy Joe. And he's a minority. We'll call the Caucasian guy Jake. And then we'll call the woman Jane. Okay, let's do, since we have John Doe and Jane Doe, so we'll do, Joe, John, Jane. Joe is the minority. John, Jane. So, Joe goes, gets a job. He's working there for 2 years. Let's say he started off at $13 an hour. He goes up to $15 an hour because he gets a $1 raise a year. Very generous raise. I don't know about any job that does that, but he gets $2 because he's worked there for 2 years. John comes and starts working there. He makes $13 an hour. Sees Joe making $15 an hour. Wonders why Joe is making more than him. Joe tells him, I've been working here for 2 years. Oh, okay. After 2 years, I'll get a raise? Yeah, you'll get a raise depending on how your job is. Or how well you do at your job. Okay. They're both working in steel yards. Joe's able to lift more because he's been working there for 2 years. His body's more accustomed to it. John, not so much. A year goes by. Joe is now making, $16 an hour. John is making $14 an hour. Jane now comes into the steel yard. She's making $13 an hour. She now wants to know why Joe and John are making more than she is. Now, she could go and be a feminist and be there like, oh my God, I am so oppressed. These two men are making more than me. Or she can sit there and be like, hey, why are you making more than me? Joe sits there and goes, hey, I've been working here for 3 years. I'm making $16 an hour. And John sits there and goes, hey, I've been working here for a year. I'm making $14 an hour. And she sits there and she goes, oh, so in a year I'll get a raise? Well, yeah, depending on how good your job is, you'll get this much of a raise. Oh, okay. And that's how equality works. Instead of this whole bullshit where you have fucking Jane coming in, looking at Joe over here, and then not even paying attention to what John's making, because nobody cares, because he's white, so nobody cares. But she's looking at what Joe's making, she does care what John's making because he's white, and she's a feminist. So she does care. I rephrase that. So she asks John, what are you making? I'm making $14 an hour. Oh, that's so wrong, because I'm only making $13. And then Joe goes, well, I'm making $16 an hour. Well, you deserve that, Joe. Because you're black. You deserve that. Or because you're Mexican. You deserve that. Or because you're Asian. You deserve that. Or because, even if he's not a minority, but he's gay, or bisexual, or trans, you deserve that. Because, well, you're not a white dude who's straight, who owns a gun, who goes to church. You deserve that. So she now goes to management. Why is he making $14 an hour and I'm only making $13? And they tell her, well, he's been working here longer. Oh, well, that's wrong. I should be making the same thing as every white dude in here. And now she finds out that the CEO, who's white, is making $3 billion somehow because of all the steel that they're selling, or because of all the... That's very, very, if my employer was making $3 billion a year, I'd be like, okay, bro, I need to make more. But we're going to use that math anyway, just because of how idiotic their argument already sounds. So he's making $3 billion a year. So she goes, the CEO is making this, so I should be making at least half of that, because I worked just as hard as the CEO did when he first started this company. Do you see how stupid that just sounded? Some bitch coming in here, and I'm talking about, I don't care if she's a woman or not. I'm talking about anybody who comes in at the job and has only been working there for a few months, and all of a sudden finds out that so-and-so is making more than they are, and they go and try to demand a raise because, oh, I work harder than them. That's great. You do right now. You're new. I say that all the time at my job. Okay, you're new. You're working really hard. Here, we're going to give you a raise. Great. Hey, you going to work sometime today? No, it's okay. I'll let other people do the work. I'm just going to stand here, band real slow, pull one piece at a time. I say it all the time at my job. As soon as they get their first raise, they're just like, oh, hey, I can be more relaxed now. And just like, oh my God. No. My dad taught me, your first day, you show them your work ethic. And then after that first day, you continue that work ethic. That was what I was raised with. So every day when I go into work, I go in, normally not with a smile on my face, because, well, it's early. And I go in, and I do my job. And I do it to the best of my capability. I have days where I'm just, like, not in the mood to be there like everybody else. So I'm not trying to preach to you like, oh, hey, I'm so great at my job. No, I have days where I'm literally do not want to be there. And I just want to leave. Last Friday was one of those days where I just wanted to get out. I had people I had to pick up at the airport. I just wanted to be gone. And they were coming up into the cities. And I was just like, yeah, I just want to get out of here. And instead of just leaving when my work was done, stuck around because that's what I was raised to do. I am not saying that makes me a great person, but makes me a good employee. That's what we've gotten away from. We've gotten away from trying to be good employees and into just meeting the standard. And honestly, it's my age group that I see as the worst at that. And that's the millennial age group. They are the worst at that. Of, here, let me meet the standard. I'm going to barely meet it, but hey, I met it. Most of them don't even try to meet the standard at all. They just stand around on their phone doing this. I love at work when I see this. Oh, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. And then they show you your phone. I literally had a guy one time try doing that, and I literally just looked at him and was like, bro, I don't fucking care, I'm here to work. And he just sat there and just goes, sorry, and just walked away from me. Like, I don't have time when I'm at work to be looking at my phone. I do not have the time. Do I work in a slower bay? Yeah, I do. That means being in a slower bay, I have time now to clean. I have time now to put things away and reorganize how I want it. I have time now to pull orders that aren't for today but are for tomorrow or even into next week. So that way I can go and help other bays. I can go help somebody else. We've gotten away from that. Of instead of I'm just going to finish my workload and then I'm going to dip. It used to be is I'm going to finish my workload and then I'm going to go help so and so. And we left that. I know I kind of went all over the place tonight. I apologize, but there was a lot on my mind that I think America needs to fix. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. And I know I'm going to probably lose a few viewers. I don't care. But it's back to the police and Black Lives Matter. Oh, one more story I'm going to talk about before I sign off. We're going to talk about this lieutenant, this black lieutenant, who got pulled over. I had people telling me that the police escalated that situation. And at first I was like, yeah, you know, they might have, because I didn't know all the facts. And I sat there and told them, and this is why I tell everybody, I'm not going to say much about it, because I don't know the facts, and that's what I kept telling them. I was like, I don't know the facts, and I was not there. I was not in their shoes. I never have been in their shoes. I've been in that vet's shoes multiple times when I've been pulled over in my uniform. But I've never been in that police officer's shoes, so I don't know what happened. So I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. And then, come to find out from doing research, that lieutenant had a gun on his front seat. Not only that, but before they even saw that, he was driving a mile and a half further from when they turned on their sirens. He went a mile and a half. That looks like trying to evade. That does not look like, oh, I'm just trying to find a safe spot to pull over, because I have done that. You're not apparently supposed to do that. I've been talking to a couple of police officers I know about it. Apparently what you're supposed to do is as soon as you're able to get over, you get over. So, hey, you're driving in the fast lane. There's traffic in this lane. You now slow down because the lights are on. Put on your blinker. Get over and get all the way over. Don't speed up to try to get around this guy and then get off on the next exit. Don't get into this lane and then get off at the next exit. Just get into this lane and then pull over to the side. I've even done it where when I've had the sirens on and I'm in the fast lane, I pull over to the left shoulder, which is on the fast lane. Cop pulls over, comes up to my driver's side window, knocks on it, tells me, hey, let's pull up right over there. And he tells me where to go. I've had them tell me, get to the next exit, take off on the next exit, I'll follow you there. And So I've had different situations. I've also had them just leave me right there. So wait to get instruction from the police. Honestly, the best way that I've noticed is pulling over right away on that shoulder if I'm in the fast lane, and then waiting for them to come give me instruction of where am I going, where do you want me, because that way I'm pulled over right away. They see I'm not trying to evade. They know that whatever it was that I was doing was wrong. I've had be a situation though before where it was, do you know that you have a tail light out? No, I did not know that. Okay, well you need to get that fixed. And then they just leave. I had those situations too. I don't ever really know why I'm getting pulled over. I don't really go over the speed limit, so I don't really ever know why I'm getting pulled over. And then when I get pulled over, it's usually something like you didn't use your blinker, or you didn't leave your blinker on long enough, or your tail light's out, or you have a headlight out. Those are usually the reasons why I get pulled over. Now, I'm a Nazi about using my blinker, but there have been times where, like, no one else is on the road, so I'm just going to pull over to this side. Don't see the cop, and I get pulled over, and then as soon as they say something to me, I'm just like, I could argue with you and say, oh, I always use my blinker. That's not going to save me in this situation. So what I just do is I just say, you're right, officer, that was wrong. And I leave my hands up on the steering wheel. But, going back into it with this lieutenant. So, they turn on the lights, drives a mile and a half before he pulls over. Cops are now already like, okay, was he trying to get away? Like, what was the purpose of a mile and a half? So they get all the cars. Or out of their car. They come to the window. They now see a gun on his passenger seat. Now they're freaking out. Because not only did he drive a mile and a half, not only does he not have the right tabs, and not only does he have over-tinted windows, which, do I understand the whole thing with the over-tinting of the windows? I do and I don't. The over-tinting of the windows, it can make it harder for you to see, which is a safety hazard, so I mean, I do see it. But at the same time, do I really think it's the police's responsibility? No, it should be a thing of if you get into a fucking accident, well, now you're liable for everything. But it is a situation where you could kill somebody. So that's why I do see why that's a law. But, so he didn't have the tabs, which, do I agree with the tabs because it's taxation? No. But, it is a law. Do I think it needs to be fought? Yes. Do I necessarily think it needs to be fought with guns? No, but it needs to be fought. Drove a mile and a half, over tinted windows. Okay, is this guy actually legit military? Because we do have a stolen valor problem, first of all. And am I saying that's what they thought it was? I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. But you have the stolen valor problem. You have the problem of he has a gun on his passenger seat, just sitting there. You have the problem of his tabs, so now you don't know if he's actually licensed to drive. And then you have the problem of the over-tinting of the windows. Why are they that dark? So that's all going through this cop's mind. So at this point, him drawing his firearm, his partner drawing his taser, them pepper spraying the guy, the guy's saying that I'm afraid for my life, and them saying you should be. Well, at this point, he probably should have been afraid for his life, because they don't know what his reason is for why the fuck is there a gun sitting on a passenger seat. So at that point, yeah, he probably should have been afraid, because they're afraid now for their lives. And that's what I would have meant by it. Is that what the cops meant? I don't know. I was not there. I'm not them. But is it possibly what they could have meant? It is a possibility that's what they could have meant. That, hey, I'm afraid for my life, so you probably should be afraid for your life too. Because I don't know why you have that gun there. And I'm telling you to get your vehicle multiple times, and you are not obeying. So now at this point, you're being tased, and you're being pepper sprayed. If it would have been a thing of, oh, they're doing it because he's black, no, he would have been shot. If that was actually the case. And I loved people. This was the thing that really pissed me off with this. I loved people trying to use that to try to push, see, black vets are even cared about. And it's like, you fuckers don't even care about any vet. It doesn't matter what color we are, what race we are, what religion we are. You don't care about a single one of us. So fuck right off with your self-righteous fucking ass attitude. Because it reeks. All it sounds like to me is that you are a hypocrite and you are a liar. Because the only time you care about us vets is when it somehow fits your fucking agenda. And that goes for any party. I don't care what party it is. The only time they care is if they can somehow make it fit their narrative. With that being said, this has been the Ranting Cowboy. Thank you everyone for viewing it. Next week, I don't really know what we're going to cover. I will be thinking about it, and I will be doing a video next week, but yeah. If you guys have any thing that you guys would like me to discuss about how something works or why it works this way or what my thoughts are on something, just because you guys think it's funny to hear my rants, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And honestly, I'm honestly thinking about like hey, just put in ideas, and every now and then I'll take an idea from the comment. And you know what? No, you know what? Let's do that. Go ahead and leave an idea in the comments of something you want me to rant about, and I'll call you out. Say this is who this rant is for. It's not necessarily going to be a call out. It's just going to be a shout out to you saying, hey, you mentioned that this is what you want me to rant about. Here's what I'm ranting about today because of so and so. So yeah, let's go for that. Yeah, every now and then it won't be every person that puts down a comment that I'll be ranting about something, but every now and then I will grab a comment and just be like, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's rant about this. Because I like ranting, as you may have noticed. Anyway, this is the Ranting Cowboy. I'm signing off. Set up, boys and girls. It's going to be a bumpy ride.